Welcome back to On the French Couch with C Money. Can't see it, but I am on a couch. Change of scenery. So I'll just cut right to it because, I pretty much have to cover for 2 weeks because we were on an excursion last week, so we didn't have to do a blog. So there's tons of crap to talk about, tons of stories. But first of all, best €5 I've ever spent in my entire life is the Ring of Power. You can't really see the inscription on it, but it has the inscription as well. So just call me the Dark Lord Sauron. It's casual. So first day of this excursion, we were in a random town, and me and this one girl, her name is Audrey, we've just been playing the floor is lava a ton, just randomly, while I'm walking across a bridge or something, she'll just be like, floor is lava, 5, 4, and so I have to run, and so I've jumped on guardrails and stood on random poles or whatever. But this time, she was walking down a street, she just kind of turned away from us and was just kind of acting like she was running away from us, and I yelled after her floor is lava and everything, and so she goes to stance. But it was mossy where she was, and it was just straight up cartoon, almost does a backflip, when they go to slide and just fly feet under them. So she just falls straight over, and all of us are just run over, try to help her up, and she's like, I'm fine, and gets up, and just so pissed, but it was just so funny. And then what we were actually walking to, with all that moss and everything, we were going to this park, but it was nighttime, so it was super creepy at night because it was just this, I don't know, hedges everywhere, and we were going to go try and get to a view of Mont Saint-Michel, which is just that castle island in the middle of a lake of quicksand. Anyways, it's super lit up at night, and we were staying in a town that overlooked it, so we were trying to get a view. And so we got there, and it was cool. And then naturally, while everyone was just kind of sitting there in this creepy garden, I just sprinted away. Because it was just me with a bunch of these girls, so biggest opportunity ever. And so I literally just take off sprinting into the middle of this maze of gardens and trees and hedges, just waiting to scare the bejesus out of these girls. And but randomly enough, this is kind of a weird story, so I was waiting for my chance, and as I'm kind of just being creeper of the century, stalking through the bushes, I keep looking kind of behind me, and there's this dude in an off-white jacket and black pants, who when I look, he kind of stops walking, because he was across the distance, across a clearing, and it looked like he was kind of following me in a way. Creepy enough, just this hooded figure, and so when I'd look, he'd stop moving, and then I kind of acted like I kept walking, just walking, and then glancing behind me, and he's following me, so I'm just okay, probably not the best circumstance to ditch these girls. So I go back, and I don't scare them, I just kind of show up behind them, and just oh, sup guys, and they're oh, what the heck, just all pissed. And then I kept kind of looking behind us to see if he was following us, but he luckily didn't follow us out of the park, but he was just he kind of kept at distance, and I waited to tell the girls until we were out of the park, and then they were losing their minds. And as we're walking away, from this murderer park, a ton of cops just start flying by towards the park, and we were well, yeah, there's our murderer, good thing we got out of there. So yeah, we avoided a murder, just casual as well. Oh, and then we went to the Mont Saint-Michel the next day, and I noticed just out in the middle of the quicksand, because it's literally just surrounded by quicksand, unless the tide is in, then it's just shallow water, I guess. There was just all these trucks, or a couple of these weird truck tanks just kind of plowing through the quicksand, and I don't know if they're searching for bodies or what. But that was strange, first of all. And then Maria, Bob's wife, the professor, the head of the program, totally called me out. She's I swear, Colton, if I see you out in the quicksand, just shirt off, pants rolled up to your thighs, just playing in the quicksand, I will kill you. She literally read, that was exactly what I pictured myself doing, like in the next hour. She called it so hard. So I did not do that, but like, I don't know how she knew. I guess it's just like knowing me. I just, for sure, like 100% would have taken off my shirt for some reason and then rolled up my pants to like to my thighs just to go play in the quicksand just to see if it was like real, or just like have some people kind of nearby to pull me out if it was real. But I don't know. That made me laugh so hard. And then, part of my Insta is I found like a full suit of elvish armor at like this random store, and I was losing my mind. I was so excited. Like took a bunch of pictures by it, and I was just so pumped. And they had like a ton of swords in the I don't know, in this random shop. And if I was like, I guess I decided like I don't have the money to blow 80 euros on a dwarvish sword from The Hobbit, but would have been so sick. It was just heaven of weapons. And then, so that whole excursion we were on was just like all about going to castles. And so we went, well, not like all about it, but there was a couple days where we were going to like seeing all these awesome chateaus. And at one of them, we rented these little like bike carts where it was like 4 people like all pedaling. And at one point I was driving one because like we had 6 people, so there was like one with 4 and one with 2. And like because the other one had like 4 people powering it. At first I was on the 4-person one, and there was 2 dudes and 2 girls on that one, and we would school everyone. And then we all traded around, and it was like, and so then I was on this 2-person one with this other girl. And as much as we tried, we just could not keep up. And sometimes like I just kind of forgot to steer because I was just like trying to pedal so hard. And so we were just like flying off the path because it's like this paved path and then just like this bumpy on the sides, and there's just tons of tourists everywhere anyways. And so you can just imagine the disappointment of all these French people just looking at these like this crazy American group of kids. Like, so there's like the 4-person one, which is just like strolling along totally fine, and then my cart, which is like flying left and right over all these bumps, and like old ladies jumping out of the way as we're flying off the path. Oh man, I can still feel the judgment. It's and then while we were trying to tour the castle, everyone kind of splits up into groups of whoever they want to hang out with. And so I was trying to get everyone through, like, because we only had a certain amount of time and we still wanted to go do those carts. And one of the girls in the group named Emmy was just like so intrigued in absolutely everything there was in the castles. So, and there's a ton. And so I just like look at the floor plan and be like, okay, we need to go here, 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 here. And like, if I left out a room, she would like lose her mind. She was awesome, but it was funny. And I just had to like pretty much usher us through. So like, I don't know, I felt like a tour guide kind of for the first time. And just like, okay, we need to go, we need to go, we need to go. So I understand more now, like the parents' rush kind of feel. And after one of these castles, there was this thing on the map that said like the secret gardens. And so we wanted to go so bad to these secret gardens. We find where it is, and there's this random gate open, and we can see in to the secret garden. And it's like, and we're super pumped because like the main door is closed, but then there's this side gate. And so we see in a beautiful garden. And this dude kind of like starts walking like really cautiously towards us random Americans at the gate. And a couple of the like people knew French, and they're like, is it open? And he was like, he responds in English, and he was like, no. And we're like, why? I don't know. It's there's nothing special, whatever. And he just kind of like looks at us as he closes the gate. And a bunch of the girls are like shouting their disappointment, like, oh my gosh, oh man, whatever, like, that's so sad. And he just like yells over the gate, he's like, sorry for you. We're just like, either like the sass of this man could not be handled, or just his English was just on fire. I don't know. One of the two. And then after this whole, or I guess I'm going out of order in time, but earlier this week we went to a graveyard, or the Paris graveyard. where I saw Frederick Chopin's grave, and that was life-changing. Or, well, I don't know, it was awesome. Loved it. Stood in front of his grave, took some pictures, played some music. And then there's this random dude who, for some reason, the sculptor just wanted to mess with everyone's minds. And so his style of, like, making the sculpture of these dead people was, like, giving them a just huge junk. Like, I don't, there's no nice way of saying it. But this one bronze dude, I took a Snapchat of it. But, like, and so it became a tradition for girls to come and rub it so that they'd be fertile, or like girls who were having, like, or French girls who were having trouble, like, having kids, they'd come and rub this dude's junk, like the statue, and they would become fertile. So that was just the most random tradition. And while we were walking through this graveyard, because we were following, like, a walk thing designed by the program, we were obviously, like, we're trying to find the right way, and an old dude just kind of walks up, not dressed, like, in any work clothes or anything, and he's just like, "You guys lost?" whatever, like, in French. And so I was like, yeah, like, do you know where this is? And he's like, "Oh yeah, just follow me." And we're like, okay. And he's just, like, telling us about the graveyard, or, like, random graves that we're passing, in French, like, the whole time. Just, like, this little cute tour guide old man. I asked him, I was like, "Do you work here?" He's like, "No." And I was like, "Just visit here a lot?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, yeah, just, have you visited your cemetery today?" I don't know, like, so we just got a free tour guide old man who took us to everything that we needed to see, and he was super nice, and he gave us backgrounds on random graves and stuff, and it was cool. And then, like, he just kind of kept following us after because we're like, "Oh yeah, like, that's it," and because he helped us finish our walk. And then he was like, "Oh, are you guys going to the metro?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so he took us to the metro, and I was like, "Are you going to come on the metro too?" Just kind of, like, continuing conversation, because he's following us to the metro, and he's like, "No." I was like, okay, like, I hope he doesn't ask for payment or something. I'd feel bad. I'd maybe give him a couple of euros or something, but, like, I don't have much to give. And then at the end he was like, "Well, yeah, like, here's the metro." And I was like, "Wow, well, thank you." Like, shook his hand. That was it. We all shook his hand, and he was like, "Have a good day, guys." And we're like, "Sweet, thanks, you too." Sweetest old man. It was just nice to know that there's just, like, nice old people still who would tolerate our annoying Americanness. Or not really, I don't know, it was just, like, our awful French and trying to talk to him, which was entertaining, good practice. And, so while we were touring these castles, I don't know if any of you can think of anything more horrible, but so just for some reason, this city that we were in, just, like, this area, I guess, just had flying spider webs everywhere. Just, like, I don't know if it was, like, the weather or what, like, but I guess spiders would just, like, weave webs places, and then the wood would just pick it up. And so everywhere, like, I kept asking people, because I was like, either I am just going backcraft crazy, I've just, like, snapped and just started, like, going for spider webs everywhere and just losing it. But, like, honestly, every 5 seconds, just a spider web, just, like, and oh my gosh, it was just, like, I don't have a huge fear of spiders, but it's just the most annoying thing. And so I was asking other people, and they're like, "Yeah, like, I don't know what it is. Like, I thought maybe it was, like, hairs or something, but there's just spider webs everywhere." And so we were on this lookout at one point, and you could just see them, like, glinting in the sun, just, like, a ton of spider webs just, like, floating everywhere. And then I saw a couple, like, most, like, nightmare thing for so many people, especially with, like, arachnophobia, flying spiders, just, like, hanging on their spider webs, just gliding along, just literally flying spiders, making spider webs in the air, coasting on the wind. So that was great. Just added to my, like, calmness. I just imagine every time I think of it, just Brian Regan talking about, like, watching someone go through a spider web, how to just be like, he must have just snapped, just every time someone walked through a spider web. It's just so funny, just watching people just snap, just out of nowhere. And then when we got back from this thing, casually, or, like, I don't know, just obviously out of d'habitude, I don't know what it is in English, but, like, I just of course wanted to play Xbox, and so I was playing Mass Effect, and the next day I didn't have school because we got back Saturday or something, I can't remember. anyways, I didn't have school in the morning, so I was playing Xbox late. And for some reason, like the door to the basement is like connected to the kitchen. It's like the pantry, but that door like locks, and they lock it every night just in case, like the pantry ghosts try and rob them. I don't know, just locked doors, I guess. And so like I guess they didn't hear me down there, or the mom, so she just kind of like closed the door and like locked it, and I could kind of hear it, and I was like, oh, maybe they just like closed the door. So whatever. Gets to be like, okay, I guess my version of late is not really as late. It gets to be like 11. I guess late for a student who has school in the morning every day. So it's like 11, and I go to check the door, and it's locked, and that's literally the only way out, and you need a key like, in order to open it from the other side, because like you can turn the lock like from that whatever side. Anyways, I would have needed a key, and so I was like, well, I don't want to wake them all up, because like they had school in the morning, or at least the kids did and everything, and so I was just, or like school and work. And so I was just like, I guess I'll just sleep in the basement, just Harry Potter style, locked in the basement with my, like, so I just slept on the couch. It was chill though. And then woke up in the morning and just kind of like, when they unlocked it, I guess, kind of just acted like nothing happened, just kind of acted like I had already woken up and came down for breakfast or something. They didn't notice, so, but then, or maybe they did, because like next time I was, the next time like that I was playing Xbox late, I think she listened more intently. She like opened it and listened for a minute and then just like closed it and didn't lock it. So I think she knows now, but still, it's so funny. And then just as like a final note, isn't like super funny story, but just on the more serious thing. Well, I guess first funny part and then serious part. So we went to Normandy, which I love Normandy. It was my third time there. And I'm so grateful that my family has taken me there for like the first 2 times, because it really is like so it is a powerful place. But I realized on the day that I went to the cemetery to Omaha Beach and everything, and Pontuhac, that I was Pontuhac. Oh my gosh, yeah, my French is great. Don't worry, guys. That I had matched myself, or like wore the exact same shirt that I did 3 years ago. So that was pretty cool. Blast from the past. But on more serious side, like I don't know, I've on this trip, like, because it is a group of students with different political opinions, and I'm very, very, very pro America, because I love America. And going into that cemetery was probably one of like the most powerful experiences of my life, at least for like patriotism, because it brings me to tears every time. Knowing that dudes my age or younger, who had never married or never like who were in the prime of their lives, were willing, and or like more than willing, they signed up, and they went to go fight in this distant country that wasn't their own, and liberate this random people who were in a war with this other people who like just for the cause of freedom. And I don't know, that really hit me, that they were so willing to serve their country and also just serve the general good of the world, that they gave up their lives. Like, and I was looking up like statistics just for the war, I guess, but just like over 400,000 American soldiers, not just in Europe, but like just in the in all of World War II, gave their lives for freedom. And so I thought that was like, I don't know, just at least a super cool message, that they weren't necessarily fighting for a specific person or like whatever. They were fighting for freedom, which I believe is what America stands for. And so I don't know, that really hit me, and like that just made me, like, I was never so proud to be an American, and what that stood for. So I hope, I don't know, everyone kind of gets like a patriotic spirit, at least when they think about that, and what America does stand for, or at least like hopes to stand for. But yeah, so that was my week, or at least the last 2 weeks. So let me know what you guys think, and also talk to me if you have questions. I'm not on a mission, so you can text or call me, just let me know. But love you guys. See you next week.